Ukbola okungaka. So much rottenness is in dire need of just an extinction, and that's exactly what's going to happen. It's an extinction level crisis. Lobthakathi benu has also literally made you believe that tina abanye asikwazi ukuthanda i-cupcake yase-Ndisho sikhethe vele vele ngoba it is a red velvet cake with cream cheese, and I love the way that they've made their cream cheese frosting. I don't know how they did it, but I love it. You know it's cream cheese. Mara somehow when you move to Cosmo City Walebal, you've got like a bad case of amnesia. Got it. Hulukile, guys. Run with what you're running. Do you know what I had to do? Because I still wanted to make red velvet cupcakes. I still wanted to make, not cupcakes, but a cake. I wanted to make a red velvet cake with a cream cheese frosting from the very, bottom. From the get-go, from scratch. I wanted to do that. And I was not about to go and disappoint my children because I told them that I'm gonna go and surprise you guys with a beautiful cake. I was not about to disappoint them. So I drove out further. So it's okay for me to waste chelete is not chelete, right? Like you're living in the Kasi and apparently allegedly you're poverty stricken. And so for those reasons, you ought then be saving all your petrol. Come on, Karabo. But no, I had to go and drive all the way to North Gate. Thank you. It wasn't North Gate, it was Bel Air Shopping Center. I had to drive to Bel Air Shopping Center, and I think it was it a Woolies or a Pick and Pay that I went into, where it was just so immediately available. It was like just gawking at me as soon as I went to that dairy section. And I was like, oh, would you look at that? And Bel Air, by the way, for those of you who don't understand the geographical landscape of that neighborhood, first of all, that is the upmarket, upper middle class neighborhood after exiting Akasi, right? That's what you need to understand. And it is about just a kilometer, maybe 2, if you're really stretching it out of Cosmo City. Just 1 kilometer or 2. It's like literally just over the highway. Just over the highway. Not a highway. That one is not even separated by a highway the way that Alex is separated from Santon, but it's like a regular road. It's not a highway, but it's a long stretch of Northumberland. Okay. Northumberland. Yeah, you wouldn't know what that is if you're not from South Africa, but if you're from around these streets, you would know what I'm talking about. You just hop over Northumberland and here it is that you've been separated from Cosmo City. Okay, cool. And then Bel Air Shopping Center is just, walking distance from there. I go in there, and at the Woolies or / Pick and Pay, I forgot where it was, I was immediately, get awarded what I wanted. I was immediately given what I wanted. I was given cream cheese. And I bought, I think, 2 of them. And I could not believe my eyes as to how much cream cheese there was in such a short distance from where it is that I came from. I could totally walk back to the Pick and Pay in Cosmo City. I could walk if I felt energetic. That was how short the distance was. And yet, somebody made a decision that geographically, we need to make a different decision based on these borders. Only based on the demographic constitution of both regions. The one region has only blacks. The other one is diversified among all South Africans. And so since there are Indians and coloreds and white people in Bel Air, we gotta put cream cheese there. However, where there's black folk, I'm sorry, just give them nkomazi. Oh, really? Okay. Ithateni nkomazi yenu ke. Black folks, seeing as you think that's all that I can make a dessert with, go on right ahead and do what you want to do. But that decision, I'm pretty sure, was made with black people in the room. And it was nonetheless made. Just as the decision to leave me destitute is made with black people in the room. And you are willing to take somebody so gifted and so smart and so talented. Because you win some, you lose some, you keep on experimenting on human beings. That's black people for you. And with this whole thing that you have endured me through, black people, your particular judgment in the tribulation, those of you who have done this to other black folk because of the way that you thought about yourselves, the way that you messed up your own families, the Lord is going to give you a Cosmo City lifestyle. And then some. The Lord is going to give you a Naturina lifestyle and then some. A Guguletu my lifestyle and then some. A Naturina, did I say Naturina? A Soweto lifestyle and then some. He is going to give you a Dobsonville Mukuku vibes lifestyle and then some. You are going to experience what life is like for you to suddenly go from opulence, prosperity, success, suburbia, upmarket, loft apartment, to basically eating what it is that apparently black people should eat. When was the last time you ever saw an advert like Kista? I mean, I think I was a child. When there was still Simonye, we are one. Before there was, what would be the tenement of cable television, satellite television. Before there was DSTV. Before any of that. And all we had was SABC 1, 2, 3 and Bob TV. Or TV 1, TV 2, TV 3 and Bob TV. And then everywhere else there was that, those yellow, that rainbow colored screen. Just very, very limited as to what you're going to watch. Programmed television, look at that. Remember that time? You could not fast forward, stop, pause, none of that. You just had to run quickly to the bathroom and an advert comes on and hope to be done before the show starts again. And if you miss it this week, whoops, maybe they might do a rerun. And if they do a rerun, you better hope and pray that you're home at that time. But largely the reruns were done when we were where? At school. So if you miss an episode, but now you have Netflix video on demand. Now you've got YouTube video on demand, and on YouTube videos you get frustrated by Eucerin adverts and Garnier adverts. How much more frustrated would you be if they barsad you in your face? Ka advert Lucky Star, Lucky Star. On some what? Who in the world is even trying to buy Lucky Star? More than even the Eucerin advert, which you just want to keep on clicking skip ad, skip ad, skip ad, skip ad, skip ad, skip ad, skip ad. You know how sometimes you just get so frustrated with the adverts that you just want to you keep on clicking on that skip ad area before it's even ready to skip. Just so as soon as it starts and you feel like you're already skipping. And then there's those annoying ones that'll tell you video will commence after the ad is over. Now imagine if they did a Lucky Star advert. Right now, le business DJs in talking about Uber meats, Uber sweets, Uber whatever. That's what it is that you're seeing right now. Uber Eats, cause le busy ka Uber Eats. Nah, imagine if you know that Uber Eats advert butter. Yeah, bora, because they make it run to the very end and it's long, so you're like, just skip ad, man, skip ad. Uber meats, Uber fresh to sweets, Uber this. I memorize it off by heart, that ad. The way Jafela repeating kankanikating. Now imagine them just running you through a Lucky Star ad like that instead of Uber Eats, Lucky Star. And there's some very low grade mapanzo just dancing over there eating raisika Lucky Star, pilchard fish, canned fish, yeah. Or baja, goodness, when was the last time you also saw advertia Aromet, Aromili, to shake up a taste with the taste of Aromet? It's been a minute, but imagine listening to Aromet advert. Go fell and like an Uber Eats ad, also mamela, the whole duration. Aromet, Aro rice, Aromili, to shake up the taste with the taste of Aromet. Oh, never mind even that. How about we bring you that old school coup advert? You know how back in the day you had to go through all the adverts. Thank you, mom, for doing the best that you can do for me. The delicious prawns and pinzales and the juiciest tenderest peas. The tomato and the baked beans and the tasty treats from Koo. The perfect beans on Tantanku. The peach and guava too. And you gotta listen to all that. When was the last time you ever heard a Koo ad? Now come on. When? How did you me? Unless you still got programs television. Moto tuning into SABC 1, 2, 3, and now it's not Bob TV Ki TV. And that's all you got? Thank you, mom, for doing the best that you can do for me. The delicious prawns and pinzara and the juiciest tenderest peas. The tomato and the baked beans and the tasty treats from Koo. The perfect peas and panza do. The peach and guava too. There are people who are still seeing Aromet ads, Koo ads. What do you call this thing? What did I mention? Cuticura. Remember that? Yeah. Lucky Star. Or Iwisa maize meal. Yeah. There are still people that are seeing low income advertisement because they only have SABC 1, 2, 3 and ETV. Yeah, the people go Cosmo City. People that are still out there trying to tune into television. Imagine that. Because they don't have flat screens TVs, flat screen televisions. There are people who are still living in things that you think are so archaic, far gone. Goodness, wow. Yeah, so long ago that you imagine they don't exist anymore. Except they still do. Color mine is still a thing. Get that. They still exist. Kodikasi. Do you understand what I'm saying? And there's certain television that still shares this, but they're not about to go and pay for budget Deyaho advertiser on YouTube. Because it's not Eucerin, it's not Garnier, it's not Revlon, it's not hyaluronic acid. But you are used to hyaluronic acid. And so because you got serum, 450 rand. Utella Karabo, even though her skincare slays yours. Because why in the world do I look like this and you still look the way that would look? Unzo reka Garnier serum, 500 rand. Lipizile reka di Pro Retinol Boost, 700 rand. While Karabo's one is $50 from Chinatown, that's from Israel. And you underestimated, and yet the results are evident on my face, aren't they? In a way that they just aren't on yours. Yeah, the other day, Mewaga, the very one that just gave me grief right now. I put her on a skincare routine that has really significantly improved her skin. However, in the run-up to, her colleagues gave her some peptides, some funny little, really expensive $700 serum that was like apparently peptides or whatever. And she's like, wait, see how I say it, but batwana bata konna bantu tsangena kom sebetsing hore ba sebedisa melaleng ya bona ene ya sebetsa mara nna ha ke bone difference. She's like, these colleagues of mine keep on talking about how they use these serums on their necks and they see a difference on some. Look, my neck is improving. I've lost my turkey neck. Yeah, it's improving. And my mom is like, I can't see a difference. You're not taking negating. I improved the appearance of it in just a month. Her colleagues of which keep asking her questions because of products that go Chinatown. Mara go Chinatown no khadi advertise way like, you know, le Ganye. Botanical Tribulation, you know, Kimang Nomzamo, Onale advertising is it Eucerin as well? Yeah. Where it is that she's basically talking about some product that has hyaluronic acid and botanical Tribulation that's supposed to make skin smooth and clear and blah blah, etc. Yeah, well, I don't know how much that product costs, but it's likely a bunch of hundreds. And I found a product that has got niacinamide, hyaluronic acid and botanical Tribulation for $100 by Dr. Ashal, go Chinatown, and multiple other ingredients, and it's been working like wonderfully on my face. That's what's good. Yeah, but you underestimate me. Why? Because of my lowliness. Well, I mean, really and truly, all of this striving, this hustling, this pushing, despite this abuse by my family, has nonetheless produced results for me. My mother, I'm trying to get right now, despite after years of just accepting patchiness on her face, like hyperpigmentation on her temples, age like the bags under the eyes, just taking it in your stride, nje. After I put her on a regimen, just a month and a half later from that date where she gained results in just 2 weeks from the date that I gave her that regimen, she treats me like this. They've got amnesia. Black folk, you've got amnesia. You forget that the skill and the talent dwells in the human being and not in the ecosystem where you find yourself. It's not in the job you get or where it is that you relocate to. It is in the fact that we are a people that have actually got wits. We are a people that have actually got a very strong survival skill, by the way. We are very good at just making it through some of the harshest terrains. And when we get to the other side, it's like not even a single day has progressed. We don't get aged by sorrow. We don't get black people. Even our hobos look healthy. People that are struggling to make ends meet. On the side of the street, always getting burnt by the sun like no man's business. And yet nonetheless their skin is crystal clear. They look really good in poverty. That's just how it is that it's been with us for a minute. And that's only because for a minute we have been given survival abilities in obscurity. I was watching The Watchmen the other day covering some humanitarian chaos in, is it Sudan? And some woman that had just lost a child of hers to cholera. Is it Sudan? I think it's Sudan, yeah. She had just lost a child of hers to cholera and another one survived. And then she's got other kids and she's living in some refugee camp that's very unkept. And when you look at this woman, you would want it. You would want her skin. Like her skin is just, it was so beautiful. It was radiating and it was radiant. And I remember being like, Karabo, you are so shallow. This woman is suffering a lot and she has just lost a daughter. And all you can think about is, I wish I had your skin. Her hardships are grander than mine. And yet I was out here coveting her skin. That's just the thing about people that are used to sorrow. They just don't get afflicted by it outwardly. The elements don't afflict them. And that's what I said to you guys the other day. Hore, the tribulation is coming, and the people that you're going to have to respect, even though you currently have no respect for them, are those living off-grid. Are those that already have been in a great deal of hardship. Are those that have already been living in refugee camps, walking multiple kilometers on end, sometimes losing family members on the way to a place of safe haven, just to get some kind of hospital care, medical care for children that are dying. It is these people that have been living these hard, nomadic lives for years on end, with no stability. Tomorrow they don't know where their meal is coming from. They have gotten used to hunger. They have gotten used to basically ignoring the fact that they're thirsty. These people are the ones that the tribulation is going to be another Tuesday to. It's going to be another Tuesday to them. And currently they're the ones that you disrespect to a point of not even putting cream cheese on their shelves, because you imagine that they don't know what it's like to have cream cheese. They're the ones that you're going to have to respect, and they're the ones that that are basically going to look at you like some child throwing their toys out the cot because the government is not giving you what you want. Because why is nobody taking care of us? Why are they treating me like this? Like people that have been so badly treated by society that they don't expect any better treatment. And so when the world is basically mean, it's like I said, another Tuesday. It's another Thursday to them. It's nothing. They're used to disregard, disenfranchisement, being ignored, crying on rooftops asking for help with people just walking right by them like they don't matter. Hobos are going to slay you in the tribulation because they've been having people walking right past them, not even caring that they're sleeping on a mat on the side of the street, not even caring that they haven't taken a bath in days, their hair is matted. No one cares that there's like a whole human being sleeping on concrete on the floor. In the very same segment that the watchman was covering, a woman was like, my body's sore from sleeping on a concrete mat for months on end because there's no mattresses, and the UN is yet to donate mattresses because funding is running dry or something. And I'm like, yeah, these are the people that are going to shut up and not even complain in the tribulation, but you're gonna be the one on some, my body hurts, why do I get on a concrete floor, why do I have to die, everything of mine hurts, I'm not comfortable, I'm not in a mattress, I'm not in a bed. You are going to wish that you had their resilience. They're not gonna have a grumbling spirit because they're gonna be so used to being marginalized, ostracized, mistreated, disregarded, ignored, that this year, like I said, it's another Tuesday. And so their strength and their valor, their fortitude, you are going to need it as an umbrella. And yet right now, Labatella, right now you disrespect me, even though I used to be one of you. I've been made lowly. And yet my mother is going to wish she had my valor. She's going to wish she had my fortitude. They're all going to wish they were in my shoes. But I'm not even going to be there. You made me live a life literally below the poverty line. In a room, an environment I can't even clean properly because I can't get to every corner. Being scared of everything that you feel in Kare, it's crawling on your toe. But you just take it in your stride. You know how I told you about Cosmo City, that there were these maggots where I was at and I had to sucker up. I had to basically take it in my stride that this time around, unlike in biology class when I was a teenager, I can't run away from a worm. This time around I gotta deal with it, otherwise it's gonna be literally sitting on my plate in my food. So I had to just suck it up. I had to suck it up, and I've been sucking stuff up for almost a decade now. I've been made basically the perfect candidate for a tribulation, except I'm not even gonna be in it. Just like me, you're gonna have come from Bel Air, and now you're in Cosmo City, except worse. When I was living in Naturina, my uncle's kitchen cupboard, because my mom rented some back room go Naturina for me because she didn't want me living in her house. And my uncle's kitchen cupboard, where it is that dishes were also being washed, so water would fall to the back and was tied to the wall. It had it was rotten, and while it did not smell, that I'm grateful for, it certainly had wildlife in it, to a point where, again, in Naturina, this time it was right in the house, every so often on the side corner of the kitchen, I would see maggots, because some food, while you are washing dishes, would sometimes slip into the back, and there's no way that you can get to it. So every so often, like, maggots would hatch right there, and they would crawl, and then you would see them on the side. So I started pouring bleach there to kill them from where it is that they were at, to mess with their thriving life, if you want to call it that, and then also just spraying doom. And after a while it stopped, but only because it's like there were cadavers of maggots at the back of my uncle's kitchen cupboard, and I could not move them. I could not move it. Nobody could move that thing. It was a fixture. And I lived there, and there was no one I could complain to. I tried to complain to my mom. She didn't care. Also, I'm living in a kitchen that every so often can maggots on the floor. I can't even eat with ease, and I just had to take that in my stride. I've been made to live in such conditions. In that same house called Naturina, and the house was very grassy. The yard was very grassy, and so every so often I used to see these like massive lizards, and I have a thing about lizards. I'm scared of them. And it happens when you find an area that has got that much bush in it, there's also rodents inevitably, but rodents tend to avoid open spaces where there are human beings. So I didn't really have to deal with mahotlo, but lizards were a problem. And because of the issue with lizards, that house, guys, like, I had to close windows 24 hours a day, and it sometimes got so hot that I couldn't deal, but I kept them closed because there was no way under heaven that I was going to have to deal with a lizard in the house. Ekan, I was not going to take it. So whenever I would come back, I would open the door, which was a sliding door, quick, and close it. And windows never opened, so as to minimize creepy crawlies that could come in. And that's how I live also here. There are lizards outside crawling on the walls in this little Wendy house where I'm living. And this window is always closed, even though I'm always complaining about the heat. I don't open it because I don't want insects crawling in here. Lizards. They're not even as big as the ones that go Naturina, but still, I don't want to have to deal with a lizard. So the only time I open is for my cat, and once the cat is in, I close again. Open, close, like proper. Yeah, and so I've been living in saunas for years. Because I can't a window. Y'all can't even fathom what it's like to live like me. Because you've been spoiled, do you understand? You can't even imagine you disrespect the living daylights out of me. You are walking around these streets like creeps. Do you understand? Like creeps. and you are comfortable moleling, and then you listen to me, you watch my content, and then afterwards you bewitch it. When I'm living in these conditions where now you're coming from a very comfortable cushy couch, Wi-Fi 24 hours a day in your house, having come back from work, you want to retire into your bed, but not first before listening to what this ludicrous woman is saying on the internet. Only reason I even have Wi-Fi in the first place is because I live among people who have Wi-Fi, and I had to fight like a dog to be among them. I had to fight like Nja to get taken out of Naturina. There it took a year. And also to be taken out of Cosmo City, there it took 5 months. Naturina lasted a year because I could at least be there by myself, because I was not living with anybody. Cosmo City, I was living with a drunk that nearly got me, like he brought some man into my ecosystem that nearly raped me. And I caused such a scene. Go Cosmo City, those many children. I'm doing edits, okay? That's what you're looking at there. Those many children embarrassed my mother. They humiliated her. And so she made a decision that after just 5 months of me being there, that I'm gonna go. She dissolved the rental, and my dad, Soweto, and said, you're on your own. And then I was put in Naturina by myself. I was able to be okay the first 4 months because there was a couple living on the property that shared their DSTV with me. But after they moved out, because my uncle was mean to them as a landlord, I was there by myself on that property for months on end, and that's when I got smacked by power cuts that would linger days on end, or water cuts that would linger days on. Yo, guys, yeah, because I was in the Gasi waiting Gasi Eleya High Sale. And when I was in those conditions, every time I would cry, lament, groan, at some point I wasn't even getting sent enough food. Nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. Nobody cared. And that's exactly what's going to happen to people in the tribulation. Do you understand? Nobody is going to care, even though you want to cry, you want to moan, you want to lament, you want to groan. If at all you want to get hurt by them, if at all you want to have your needs met, if you at all want to basically get what it is that you desire, you're going to have to basically sell your soul. You're going to have to give yourself to the Antichrist, who's going to say to you, take my mark. Then I will give you, like goodness, I'll give you couscous again. I'll give you like Greek salad again. I will give you feta cheese again. I will give you pizza, for crying out loud, again. I will give you those Andiccio cupcakes that you absolutely adore. I will give you what you desire. You will have a beautiful meal 3 times a day. I will even give you a home that is warm, electric blankets, never mind a hot water bottle that you have to use in the wilderness, insofar as you will take my mark. And that's exactly what's been happening with me. People have been telling me, Karabo, you don't have to live like this, just take my mark. You don't have to live like this, just accept this, accept that, embrace this nonsense, embrace that. This guy in the US, he's not that bad. Like, you know, when you try to make everything that's just menacing look good, just so a person can have even a slight, even a sliver, just a small sliver, a crack, yeah, of peace, a crack of comfort, you will leave them in obscurity until they think a pea is a loaf of bread. That's what's been done to me. I have been put in so much obscurity with people hoping that I'm going to consider substandard provision as gold, as a gold mine. People want me to settle for evil men because apparently, allegedly, the only way out of this is by marriage. People want me to compromise, anything to walk away from God. You don't have to live a life where you're always being pressurized into suicide. Yeah, that's what's good. Yeah, Karabo, you know, like, it doesn't have to be that bad. You could just live better. Just take whatever it is that we give to you. That's exactly what the tribulation is going to look like. My life is a tribulation life, and just as I would never commit suicide, it's not an option because I don't want to go to hell. Neither will you have an option to commit suicide. You are either being told settle for the devil, so sin against God, ignore his precepts, pretend he did not say A, and rather act as if though B is okay with God, even though he has clearly outlawed it. Either do that or die. Kill yourself then, because you don't want to live like this. Both things of which are unacceptable. So if you don't accept both of them, it means live in obscurity then. That's my life. Your own family will say that to you. Your own children, your own mother, your own sisters, your own husband, your own friends are going to tell you, oh, you're hungry? You want cheesecake? Look, you can get it. It's easy. I've got the money. But like, you're going to have to do ABC. When everything comes with a concession, what do you call this thing? A fine print. A term and a condition. That's when you need to understand that to live is Christ, but to die is gain. That's when you must remember that you must strive to make your calling and election sure. That's when you need to look longingly and lovingly into the eyes of Christ and say, into your hands I commit my spirit. That's when you need to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. That's when you need to say, naked I came into this world and naked shall I leave. The Lord gave and now the Lord has taken away, yet I will ever praise him. That's when you basically say, no thank you, Satan, and even if he whips you with torture, to live is Christ, but to die is gain. I've been saying that for 10 years and everybody still thinks it's a joke. I've been saying that for a whole decade and everybody still thinks I am making a spectacle out of myself. I'm a lost cause apparently by holding on to Jesus. Almost 10 years, 9 years this year. It's going to be 10 years next year in October and November. I round off to the nearest 10, that's why I keep on saying it's a decade. 9 years of this level of sorrow and obscurity. And people are telling themselves, I mean, you are at the 9-year mark. You've lost all of your 30s, Karabo. You're turning 40 in August next year. You can't hold on to this. You can't keep this up. Exactly. No, you're right. I can't. Even the Lord said that if he did not cut these days short, no flesh would be saved. For the sake of the elect of God, he cuts the days short. He will cut the tribulation short for the sake of whoever is a Christian, whoever is an elect Jew that will ultimately embrace Christ at the second coming. He will cut those days short for him. For those people, so yeah. So since my life is a prototype of the tribulation, for my sake, he's going to cut these days short. Because the Lord is aware that you're going to say, Karabo, if you don't do this, you're going to die. If you don't do this, you're ultimately going to be pushed to suicide. God knows that, yes, it would happen. I have indeed got a terminal illness. At some point, I would capitulate to death. The Lord knows that this would eventually drive me to suicide if he did not cut these days short. I'm not saying I'm invincible. I'm not saying that I'm so strong like the Incredible Hulk that I will never ever be brought low. No, please understand. If you keep doing this to me for an indefinite season, I would at some point actually get in a car, put a sock in my exhaust fume and die from carbon monoxide poisoning. I would ultimately take myself out. Even the fact that I have ideated or manufactured in my mind how to die, the fact that I thoroughly understand that on the day when I do finally commit suicide, it's going to be by carbon monoxide, that's how bad things are in my life. I'm a terminal case, do you understand? And if the Lord does not cut the days of my sorrow short, I would not be saved. With my family continuing to act a fool like this, I would not be saved. With you continuing to cast spells on me like this, I would not be saved. So what is the thing that's going to rescue me exactly? Like I said, one of two things. It can either be a good Samaritan that's going to harness me out of this, which I highly doubt, or it's the rapture. We're going to go home. And when I'm there, from what the Lord showed me, you're going to be eating pilchard sardines, the lucky fish, lucky star. You know those canned goods? Lucky star. That's what the Lord said to me earlier when I was like, but how long am I going to be going through this? Wiping tears down my eyes, feeling sad about the fact that I lost my children, I lost my husband, I lost everything. I don't have anything in anyone and I'm not definitely going to get a future. I'm just going to be thrown away in Jafela as a human being. It's going to happen. I'm going to lose now, never mind my 30s, but my 40s too. I'm just going to be lingered in the state, God, if you don't deliver me. And the Lord sang to me with all of his sense of humor. Lucky star, lucky star, lucky star. And I was like, what are you saying, God? The Lord is like, they're also about to go and eat canned goods. They're going to know what it's like to live among maggots. They're going to know what it's like to go without power for days on end. Have to choose to use a hot water bottle because you don't have an electric blanket. Live in an environment with an animal that keeps on muddying their sheets, except without even the level of luxury that you have. Live in an environment that you can't clean well enough, that you're always paranoid there's something crawling around you. You are always wondering if there's like, well, what's going like ants. Everything is a mess. You can't even clean it properly. Live in a space where people who are just in very close proximity to you are living their life. They're living in luxury. They're buying cars. While next to their vehicles is your debilitated, dying, dead car. Eritsil. That has not been washed in months. Because where's it going? That you have to keep on starting every couple of days just to make sure it doesn't die from battery. Just to make sure I talk after. You get my point. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're also going to be living not very far from the main cities where there's going to be people living in luxury, and they will remember their lives, how they used to live in luxury, but they're not going to be able to live like that. They're going to have to basically keep on opening those canned goods and running away from rodents, running away from lizards, running away from maggots, running away from things that go bump in the night, mosquitoes, everything that's crawling on you. Yeah, the day is coming. And you're also going to, just like Karabo, for months on end. Months, do you understand? I struggled with an acne issue because I could not find products to deal with my acne. Wanted to get off benzoyl peroxide and did not have resources to afford a dermatologist. And so I basically dealt with like hard knock acne on my face, and it made me look like a pizza face, and I was very discouraged during that time. Ultimately, the Lord helped me find a solution for it, because I went like a black market. I went underground. I basically went to them calamine aisles of skincare, to them cuticula aisles of skincare, to them black magic aisles of skincare. I went to places that y'all are not perusing anymore, because I can't afford no Eucerin. I can't afford no vitamin C serum. Ya Garnier. I can't afford no vitamin C serum. Ya L'Oreal. Ya Olay. I can't afford like anything at all to basically deal with my acne. I can't afford to deal like anti-aging treatment. on my face. It's all cheap. Like I told you, I've got some pro-retinol boost serum that has got peptides in it and hyaluronic acid retinol and all that jazz from Israel. It's a tiny little 15 milliliter bottle key. Yeah, 50 rand take it towards go Chinatown. That's how it is that I take care of my skin, and all that stuff is working by the grace of God, because the Lord has shown me that there are things in the undermarket that is underestimated that work really well. Just in the same way that they underestimated the neighborhood that you were living in, go Cosmo City, enough to not even stock. What do you call this thing? Cream cheese. Cream cheese is like a Eucerin serum. Do you understand? That they imagined cannot possibly be purchased on a shelf in a black neighborhood. That's the world that you live in, and black people, you are irresponsible in a country where it is that you've been given independence to a certain extent to allow that level of underestimation of your persons. But I see why it's even happening, because even you underestimate your own people. Look at what you've done to me. Look at what you've caused the world to do to me. Look at how much you have made sure that the world cannot even listen to anything I say. Look at how you've made my own mother, who knows she gave birth to a genius child, is treating me. Because given that I have nothing, this woman is risking she is risking being walked away from. She is risking being abandoned. Groveling. Karabo. She knows she's risking it, but she's taking for granted that I'm not going anywhere, because I haven't gone anywhere for a whole 9 years. And that's exactly what's going to be of you in the tribulation. Ain't nobody gonna be out here scared to lose you, because everybody's gonna trust that you're gonna stay poor. So I mean, may the odds be truly in your favor then, won't they? May the odds be truly in your favor. Or is it may the odds be ever in your favor? Whatever Effie Tinkett says, I told you, these are the Hunger Games. You're about to enter into them. I'm about to be made elite now. I'm about to be the one sitting, perched in heaven above with my nose in the sky, while all of y'all suffer groveling down here in these streets with these Hunger Games. You made sure that you brought the apocalypse on board. You literally ascertained it. You ensured that this was happening. This here is not sustainable. I would have been murdered by suicide if the Lord did not cut these days short. Just the fact that today I'm being pursued by it, like no man's business. Just like that. Yeah, no. It might happen again next week, perhaps again in a month. It might happen again maybe after 2 months. But it's going to happen for enough times for me to stay alive through it all. Because if at all, the last shot that is going to ultimately push me over the edge is happened upon, and I do die, there is no God that favored me enough to understand that my days of sorrow, persecution, and abuse were not cut short enough on time for me to be saved. I would not have been spared if the Lord did not cut these days short. So you must trust that He will. Because if He's going to cut the days of the tribulation short, the tribulation of which people had coming, then He will definitely cut my days of persecution short, given that I don't have this abuse coming. I'm innocent, you are not. And so if He can cut your days short, only guilty, how much more will He then cut my days short, being as innocent as I am? The Lord is the one to be my vindicator. Your wickedness has taken this country over the edge. The inequality in South Africa is due to the irresponsibility of the South African black government. I can't say that enough. They keep on building gasis right next to suburbia, and as a result they're going to cause a civil uprising. It's inevitable. As a result, people are going to be sick and tired of living in obscurity right next door to wealthy people. And all that war that's going to break out in the country is going to be one more reason why the Antichrist is going to need to rise up on the scene and create world peace. South Africa is entering into civil war. It's going to be among one of the many wars and rumors of wars that are going to happen in the world. Our nation is the most unequal country in the world. In the world. Do you understand? And that inequality has caused a lot of animosity in especially the poor. And the poor have been, the national infrastructure, the way that things have been built is such that the poor are literally right next door to the rich. So y'all need to understand, you are tomorrow's Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI. You are going to be beheaded. The wicked, the poor are going to come into your households, loot, plunder everything there, kill you, and then live there themselves. The rapture is going to create that level of chaos on the ground. So this thing of yours, of building mikuku right next to some luxury apartments in Sandton, Alex and Sandton right next to each other. Understand, mikuku or ena, the residents of these mikukus are about to come and live in your apartments. It's going to happen. And on that day, cool beans. Thank you, Mom, for doing that. I don't know when was the last time I ate canned food. We're not a big fan of them. My mom likes everything fresh. Here, the vegetables udi chopper from scratch. She would much rather buy it that way rather than buy it sliced up. The way I ratang fresh food kateng mara otlo dija those canned peaches wankutla rather than eat iperekisi empel. They're not, yeah, I mean peaches are indeed real, but then when you can them, there's like a whole process of preserving that is unhealthy over there. She's going to eat those canned peaches, she's going to eat those canned guavas, she's going to eat those canned beans. Yeah, because that's all that you're gonna have. You're not gonna be able to hold on to like a whole head of cabbage that you're gonna later cook, because it's gonna rot in your arms. So loeja, lakista lankutla, that fish that you can't stand, you can't even remember when was the last time you had lakista fish, like upul loeja shem, loeja, because it's gonna be all you have. So like I said, may the odds be ever in your favor. All the best. The tribulation is here. It can't not be. Why? Because if it wasn't, I would die at the hands of my family. They would have made me commit suicide, yet I would have been killed by some like perverted animal somewhere else. Some people would have thrown a death spell on me and my family members would have just glided in it easily. Given that they're as demon possessed as they are, I would have been murdered by suicide. Do you understand? And my family members would have looked very, very culpable. But thank God that he's gonna cut these days of my suffering short. Otherwise, even I would not be saved. Like I said, may the odds be truly in your favor. All the best. Bye.